Got some ear pods. I didn't know I was getting those. That was a nice gift.
You used them yet?
I tried them on. I haven't used them yet. I just turned them on, basically.
What did you learn about your team during the 2-game trip that maybe you hadn't been able to see it on TV yet?
Well, I think we knew that there was going to be a challenge for our basketball team to score against Stanford. I think we knew that going in. I think we saw that scoring is a premium. I think our team bounced back from that all right. We did some good things against Portland State. It was good to see that we didn't check out early. I know that sounds funny, but as a coach, that's a big deal. You're going home to break and everybody's excited about it, and you want to make sure that you're staying engaged and staying active. We had some good practices while we were over there, so that was a good sign.
It was one of those games, I think we talked about this before you went down and over there and played, but it's one of those, are you happy that you get to see how your team kind of stacks up against a team like Stanford, especially the newcomers on the group?
Yeah, I think it was important to play that game. I think I think we were competitive for a large portion of the game. Got a little bit out of hand late, but I thought we were competitive, but we were just deficient offensively. So I think that's, sometimes we can talk to our players about where we need to improve, but when you have the facts, when you have the stats from a game like that, I think it makes your message a little bit clearer.
What do you want to see from your team as you get closer to the SEC competition? Where do y'all need to get better before the start of conference play?
Right. I think we would need to be more consistent defensively, more consistent with our rebounding, and then our offensive efficiency just has to improve. We know that. It's going to work in progress. And it takes time. You don't just push a magic button. You don't just run a certain play and it'll be great. You just have to continue to work on it. You have to continue to watch film. You have to continue to practice and realize where you can be a little bit better. What
was the difference in the way y'all played between Stanford and Portland State in terms of the offense? Was it just a matter of the level of competition being a lot different, or did you see improvement from your team from the first game to the second?
Yeah, I thought we had some improvement. I thought we moved the ball around. The defense was very different. We saw man versus Stanford. We saw zone versus Portland State. And obviously, Portland State, you don't have the size that you're going up against when you have Stanford. And I think Stanford does such a good job. I think they're underrated defensively. I think they're very smart. They're very disciplined, and they have a game plan and they stick to it. I thought Portland State, we had really good tempo, especially in the second half. I thought that third quarter, we really played downhill. We were very aggressive. That was good for us.
Is there any part with this team that you're almost surprised has gotten to the level it has before conference play? Anything you're pleasantly surprised about with where this team is?
Pleasantly surprised. I don't know that any coach is pleasantly surprised at Christmas break. I think we're always nitpicking and trying to find ways to get better, and whether that's how you come to practice every single day, or how you approach film, or just every little thing. We're always striving to push them to find a way to get better.
You've talked about implementing your game plan over time, especially with conference play coming up. How much more are y'all adding now before SEC play starts?
Yeah, we'll actually put a couple more tweaks in. I'm one I like to add throughout the season. I think it keeps your team engaged. I think once you see how your team is trending throughout the season, you can make adjustments. You can add something that makes sense in January that you just didn't know was going to make sense, right, until you're in those games. So we'll continue to add throughout the season, probably weekly. We'll find some things weekly, but I think it's good for our team to do that.
I know Howard plays in a one-bid league, and they haven't won 4 straight. What can they kind of do to maybe give y'all a little bit of a challenge?
Well, their guards can score, and they are one-on-one scorers. So you've got to be able to guard and contest some players that can knock down shots. Defensively, they're going to get after it. They can change up their defenses, keep you off balance a little bit. They don't have the size to guard the interior, but they've got the quickness and the speed to disrupt your offense on the perimeter or even full court in a press.
Ray had a career high against Portland State, and it was the way she did it too. I think she was 10 of 13 from the field. What have you seen from her in terms of her growth so far this season?
Well, I think she was really aggressive, and I think that's how she plays. But I thought she really played downhill, found ways to get to the basket, and I thought she took good shots and was very aggressive doing it. And that helps us. We don't have a lot of that on the team where we just have people making a beeline to the basket. That's good for us. We need to develop that with some of our other players. But as we continue to work with Ray, I think one of her biggest hurdles has been decision making with the basketball, and obviously for her being aggressive and going and getting layups, it's a great decision.
It's obviously important to see how your team measures up on the road, but after a trip like that during the holidays, is it nice to be back home and be playing a game at Thompson-Boling Arena?
I love Thompson-Boling Arena. I don't think, if we could petition, maybe the NCAA would let us play all of them here. I don't know if they'll do that, but it's good to be back. Good to be back here and get in front of hopefully a big crowd against Howard. It's a vacation time, holiday break, so we're hoping that people come out and watch the game. And we want to play with a lot of energy. This is an important game. To get back in the groove of how we need to be playing and get ourselves prepared for SEC play.
Coach, you're finding ways to use all of your players, sometimes all 10 in the first half. Do you want to continue that with a heavy rotation? Do you anticipate trimming that rotation going into 2020, or just sort of roll with what works?
I love playing a lot of people if it works, and that's going to be important to try to find that. Obviously for me and what I like to do, we're low in our guard numbers with only 5 guards. That's a low number. So we're going to have great rotations there. We have high numbers in the post play and for those positions. So I would like to continue to play a lot of kids, but if we get in a game and we've got something that's working, then I'm okay with shortening that bench if I need to.
What's on schedule coming out of the West Coast? I imagine the players got some time off for the holidays, and how many what's the practice work schedule been like since then?
So we dispersed from Portland. Folks were able to go home from Portland, and they were reported back here on the 26th. We had an evening practice at 8 p.m. and it was a get the cobwebs out type practice, get up and down, and then we went twice yesterday and then once today.
Kellie, you used that expression, playing downhill. I'm hearing that more now. Since the Stanford game, are you going to be more mindful, or want the kids more mindful of attacking the basket and either getting to the free throw line or getting higher percentage shots to avoid nights like that? We
have been talking about that from day one, and I understand that needs to be an area of growth for us. It's not natural for many of our guards, and that's where I see it more with our guard play. So we've got to continue to help them. We drill it consistently, constantly, to get them more comfortable getting to the basket. And I think when we do that, we'll be a better basketball team.
Do they just have to be, is it a mindset? Do they have to be physically tougher about that? Because there's probably going to be contact involved and things like that.
Right, and our players are big and strong enough to take some contact. I think it's more of a mindset that they've got to get themselves in there and be okay with it. And once they do it a little bit, it will become easier. It's just not natural for a lot of players. It wasn't natural for me as a player, but my teammate Samika Randall had a great knack for getting all the way to the basket. So some people do and some people don't. But I think we can continue to work on it and develop it in some of our players.
And also, if they're doing that and you're getting to the free throw line more, you need to shoot better than I think you're at 62 right now. Is that what should and can this team shoot?
Yeah, I think we can. If we can get our guards are pretty good shooters. If we can get them there more, I think we can make more. We get to 70%. I think that'd be probably pretty good for this basketball team. You hate to leave so many points out there, but in terms of when you're having a tough shooting night, you got to get to the free throw line. You got to find a cheap bucket here or there. Maybe that's in transition, and you got to get some offensive boards and putbacks. That's how you can manufacture points when you're not shooting well.
Coach, there was a big event in Sparta Monday. Finley Elementary School is now Kellie's court. I noticed you were there at the ceremony. Just what was it like to see your name on your elementary school court? I know it's a new school, but
right
across the street from your old one.
Yeah, so they had an open house to showcase the new school, still Finley Elementary, and they brought me in, had a presentation and dedication of the court, which was Kelly's court. First of all, it is a beautiful school, and that elementary school has 6 goals. I think that's amazing. 6 baskets at an elementary school, and to go in and have my name there, I'm really humbled and very honored to have that. It's really special. I love my hometown, love my elementary school, high school, middle school. I loved all that, and just like I said, humbled and honored.
Kind of bouncing off of that, when you have an honor like that, but it's kind of a statewide, maybe nationwide thing when a little girl sees the Lady Vols. How much pride do you take in being like a role model to some of these young girls, maybe in elementary school there, or, nationwide?
Well, I think, I'm in a position that people look at naturally, and, maybe it can be a story for some little girl in a small town, and maybe she has big dreams. Maybe it's to coach basketball, maybe it's to do something else great in this world. And, I hope that they hear the message that if you work hard and you do things the right way, that you're going to have a lot of options. You don't know what those options are going to be, but you're going to have a lot of options. And, I've been very blessed to be around great people, put myself in a position to find a little success and be able to live out a dream come true.
This guy's entered the new semester. Any injuries to note, any eligibility issues, anything like that, or all set?
No, I think we're all good. I think at this point you've got bumps and bruises and sicknesses that you have to fight, but I think at this point we'll be full day.
What would you have thought as a kid if your elementary school had 6 baskets?
My goodness, you get to shoot an awful lot in practice if you had 6 baskets, right? Coaches everywhere would love 6. I've been in colleges and didn't have 6 baskets in a gym, so it's really cool for young kids to be able to go in there and get shots up. They probably won't miss any free throws.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank